Bitcoin is currently 25% down from all-time highs. The question is this a dip or are we now headed into the bear market? We are currently below my weekly invalidation level, which is $98,000. However, I still think that this could be a potential bounce zone. In today's video, I'll be telling you exactly why I think this. We'll be going over the most recent Bitcoin price action, addressing the overall sentiment in the market, and of course, I'll be taking you through a couple of patterns that I've been noticing over the past few weeks, which are likely to play out again. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. All right, I get it. The sentiment is absolutely horrible. On Friday, Bitcoin dumped to below $94,000. At the time of recording this video, we are sitting just above 96K. Now, to be perfectly clear, because I've been reading some of the comments, the bearish comments in particular, I completely understand. We are literally down 25% from the highs. Could this signal the bear market? I want to talk about exactly how I would be navigating this. In my opinion, first and foremost, this is not the time to go max short. We have the yearly open right around $93,000, and we are sitting just below my weekly invalidation level of $98,000. If we start to get consecutive weekly closes below $98,000, I am willing to call it quits, and I would be pivoting my overall strategy in this market to shorting relief rallies. In my opinion, I've seen this play out time and time again. Everyone gets extremely fearful. And what happens is when everyone goes max short, we end up going ahead and liquidating a lot of shorts in the market. Even if the cycle is over, I would be very surprised if we don't get at least some kind of relief rally up to, at the bare minimum, $110,000, right around that bull market support band. And if this rally is to occur, in my opinion, it would be from right around this zone. I know it's painful, especially in the short term. If you're in my premium group, for example, I longed Bitcoin around $100,000, took some profits, got stopped out at break even. Then I longed Bitcoin once more below $100,000, took some profits, got stopped out at break even. And most recently, I longed Bitcoin around $98,000 and I ended up cutting my trade at a loss. That is the nature of this market. The thing is, we have so much confluence around this level. So if we are to bounce, it would be from around here. Now, I'm not going to tell you at the exact dollar amount where the bounce could stem from, but in my opinion, it's going to be from this zone, even if it's just a relief rally. So we have that yearly open, something to consider too. The fear and greed index went even lower, down to 10, extreme fear. And we also have the fact that there are continued shorts piling into the market. There is way more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market. However, there are a couple of traders that are trying to catch this bottom, myself included, and you can see that there is some liquidity still to be grabbed. We also cannot ignore the fact that we have a CME gap right around $92,000 for Bitcoin. So this could be a very interesting confluence zone. Now, I want to talk about some patterns that I've been noticing over the past few days and weeks. And first and foremost, this would be as soon as New York Open kicks off, we end up dumping massively. Maybe we get a little bit of a pump, but it ends up closing in the red and Bitcoin drops even more than where we started that day. It seems obvious in hindsight, but I've just been noticing this pattern, and so potentially this shift in pattern would signal when the bottom has occurred. Now, the other thing I want you to consider are the weekend pumps. These past 3 weekends, Bitcoin has pumped all the way up until the weekly close, and then after Monday starts slowly retracing and goes to lower levels. Right now, if you're watching this on a Saturday, it is not the worst idea in the world to consider entering a Bitcoin long up until the weekly close, and then you can go ahead and shave some profits. That's of course not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I am currently considering. We've seen it play out time and time again. Let's take a look at the chart here. So if we go back to Friday over here on November 7th, we marked a little bit of a bottom. I actually went long here, and then we pumped all the way up throughout the week to $107,000, pumping into that weekly close first and foremost. I took some profits, then I got stopped out at break even. Then we go a week back, exact same scenario. Right around Friday, we appeared to mark a bottom here, then we went ahead and pumped into the weekly open. This pump was a lot less sustained, we dropped much lower. And the week before that, exactly the same thing. On Friday, we closed right around 110, then we ended up pumping into that weekly close all the way up to around $115,000, $116,000. This could be a cheeky short-term play ahead of the weekly close if you're watching this on the Saturday. Make sure you use stop losses if you want to attempt this. Reminder, if you want to trade with me, you have all of the links in the description down below. The second link brings you directly to Bluffin, which is one of my favorite exchanges that I have been trading on for quite some time. I also hold a significant amount of capital on this exchange. They're tried and trusted. I've been using them forever. One of the main reasons why I like them as well, they let you trade Bitcoin dominance, which, as I've said time and time again, I've been extremely vocal about it going up. Now, the interesting thing that I discussed in my previous video was that Bitcoin dominance seems to be stalling out right around the 60% level. And so potentially we are starting to see altcoins showing a little bit of relative strength. Now, on that topic, I want to address a couple comments. I read the other day someone say, man, why are you talking about altcoins relative outperformance? You're bullish on altcoins. Are you kidding me? I can appreciate that some of you have probably joined the channel more recently, but some of the OGs here know how bearish I have been on altcoins. I've been so bearish on altcoins that I even posted a tutorial as to how I made around $20,000 per month consistently shorting those alts. This was posted 5 months ago, and it's literally a 20-minute video of me showing P&Ls and proofs of shorting altcoins in this market. By the way, I'll link it at the end of this video if you want to watch that. This was the best risk to reward opportunity in this market, and it's actually how I've been making most of my money. More recently though, altcoins have dropped so significantly that the risk to reward isn't always there, so you need to be careful. But the point is, I have been vocally bearish on altcoins. So please don't comment that nonsense. We also have the fact that when Kanye West launched his token, I was vocal. I literally posted just a quick video, same day, same minute that he launched the token, short it, and this token inevitably went to zero. So I think I proved my point. I've been very, very bearish on altcoins. However, over the past few days, when Bitcoin has been dumping, past few weeks, they haven't been dumping that significantly, likely to do with the fact that they absolutely capitulated with that massive liquidation event. Now, let's get back into the charts. So right now, as I'm recording this video on the Saturday, Bitcoin is sitting just above $96,000. Is the low confirmed in? In my opinion, there is a non-negligible chance that we could have a doji candle for Bitcoin as November closes. Now, right at this moment, November is down 12%. I would anticipate this to slowly start climbing up as we start to find a bottom. This is currently my base case. Now, how would I navigate this if I'm wrong? If we get consecutive weekly closes below $98,000, I'm willing to throw in the towel in the sense of selling some more spot Bitcoin because I did accumulate from lower levels, and then I would be reassessing my view of the market and pivoting my overall trading strategy to shorting relief rallies. By the way, if you want to know exactly how I am personally trading this market day by day, week by week, you do have the first link in my description down below. It brings you directly to my free Telegram community. If you DM me the word premium on Telegram, I would be happy to onboard you into my free premium group. The only requirement is that you sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links and you start trading on there as you normally would. If you're already trading on some of these exchanges, we can easily transfer you under my referral and you'll get access to that group. I would typically recommend Bluffin with the second link in my description down below because you get a 15% trading bonus cashback and you can literally get up to $3,000 completely for free depending on your deposit, of course, and it's limited to the first 50 users. So if this sounds interesting, go ahead and sign up with the second link in my description down below, not to mention that Bluffin does allow you to trade Bitcoin dominance. Now let's get back to the charts. So I want to start seeing some sweeps for Bitcoin. If we are to get a bounce, it would be from around this zone. I have to keep reiterating this. Some of you have been asking me, why don't I just start shorting massively? This would be the worst risk to reward opportunity to short in this market. We have the 92K CME gap, we have the crucial yearly open level, and we're flirting just below that 98K pivot, which actually sent us to brand new all-time highs. I want to see how the price action develops before I can actually confirm, okay, we are heading straight into a bear market. This is absolutely nothing, especially if you accumulated Bitcoin at much lower levels. Now, I'd like to quickly address the overall market sentiment. We already discussed the Fear and Greed Index sitting at 10, and everyone seems to be capitulating here at crucial support level, may I add. We know that this is a crucial bounce region if we are to bounce, and that is currently what I am banking on. Now, some of you have been asking me how I remain so resilient in this market. Why am I not worried as I see Bitcoin dropping 25% from the highs? The thing is, I've been talking about this time and time again on the channel. I am not impacted by altcoins dropping simply because my spot portfolio is literally only Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I've been pretty vocal about this. Now, I know that a lot of you are new to the channel. You just recently joined. And I showed you the receipts of me being extremely bearish on altcoins. I understand your pain because I suffered the same kind of pain in previous cycles. So what I want to get at here is take it on the chin. It doesn't mean that we won't get some kind of pump and some relief for altcoins, but at that point in time, as we do inevitably head into the bear market into 2026, start accumulating spot Bitcoin. Of course, I will be vocal as soon as I go ahead and buy some more Bitcoin, as well as when I start selling some of my current Bitcoin. But the point is, you want to set up your portfolio in a way where you can operate in this market stress-free. That is how I manage my own emotions in this market, and it's how I'm able to come out here every single day and tell you what I think the market could be doing without being emotional. So, this is how you do it. You build out a Bitcoin position in the bear market near the bear market lows, because remember, no one can actually call the Pico bottom. But the thing is, you can buy Bitcoin within a $20,000, even $30,000 range, and you saw the kind of uptrend we got from sub $20,000 all the way up to $126,000. That is a massive move. If most of your portfolio just sits in Bitcoin and you're stress-free and you use some other capital to start trading the market, that means trading altcoins with leverage, even trading Bitcoin and Ethereum with leverage, that is totally fine. And as a standard rule of thumb, which I've shared in my premium group, I have a spot portfolio 5 times the size of my overall trading portfolio. This way, if I start to incur a couple of losses in my trading portfolio, I remain completely stress-free because I have such strong exposure to the market. Now, I can understand that that may not be possible for some people. Maybe some people want to expose themselves to the market a little bit more in terms of trading. That is totally fine, but I would typically always recommend to have a much larger spot portfolio compared to trading portfolio. Typically, I would say 2x is a very solid level to achieve. That means, for example, that if you establish a base in the bear market, Bitcoin is sitting right around, let's assume 50 to 70K, around that region near the bear market bottoms. We go ahead, buy some Bitcoin. Let's say you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, just as an example. Your trading portfolio into the next bull run should only really be at most $50,000 as you sit on your Bitcoin and ride the wave up. And yes, I am still a firm believer of the 4-year cycle. I still think we will have a bear market, even if my base case at this point in time is that from around this zone, whether we hit the CME gap around $92,000, whether we get a couple more wicks lower, we will likely bounce. That is currently what I am looking at. Now, this isn't a sign to just say, hey, go max long here. But the point is, going into the weekly close, we likely get a bounce. Then we have to see if we can continue to hold above $98,000. And remember, if you've been watching me for a while, I think that 107 is one of the most pivotal levels to hold as support. And if we can hold there, then we talk about the bull market support band, and then back above the bull market support band, I'm telling you, at that point in time, we would be seeing all-time highs. I have seen much weirder things in crypto, and reminder, this is a 25% correction. Now, there is a bearish case that we need to discuss. If we start to get those weekly closes below $98,000, consecutive weekly closes, I will be selling a lot of spot Bitcoin because I did accumulate from lower levels. I just have to be honest and share that with you. The other thing on the more bearish side is that equities are seeing a little bit of drawdown over the past few weeks. Now, we've been getting these red candles, but I still think that we can continue to melt up. Every single dip for the stock market, it seems like people are celebrating, saying that we're going to absolutely plummet. But look at this price action. I mean, stocks have literally been outperforming crypto. The thing is, yes, we can potentially even drop down to this bull market support band, but ultimately, this can still resort higher. You will not catch me calling the top on stocks. That is simply a fool's errand. Now, let's take a look at the liquidity. In the short term, you can see that over the course of this weekend, we are still seeing a couple of longs trying to pile in. I would be expecting the price of Bitcoin to remain relatively stable. However, going into that weekly close, as I alluded to earlier, I still think we'll likely see a move to the upside, trying to save the weekly close. But what I want you to understand is not whether or not we're going to get a bounce, because I still think this is likely, but rather if this is going to result into a lower high, maybe all the way up to here, and then we roll over, or if we end up making brand new all-time highs. That is going to be a question that we'll have to answer as we see the price action develop. I also wanted to quickly touch on the Fed's probability of a rate cut in December, and right now there's a 55.6% chance that there is no change. Previously, rate cuts were almost marked as a certainty, and so this is quite interesting, especially with the government reopening. Let's see if this actually changes, but for now, odds are we won't be getting rate cuts in December. And that sums up today's quick video. I hope I gave you a little bit of insight as to how I'm currently navigating this market. I don't want to see consecutive weekly closes below $98,000. Ultimately, I still think that we are in a bounce zone, and also, yes, I have been bearish on altcoins for months. Now let's see if altcoins can continue to show a little bit of relative strength against Bitcoin. If I start to see that, I will likely be closing my most recent Bitcoin dominance long trade, which I shared with you on Bluffin. A reminder, I do have my Bluffin leverage trading tutorial right here if that interests you, and I also do have my shorting altcoin tutorial right here as well. Ultimately, I think that Bitcoin could be seeing a bounce from around this zone. If I'm proven wrong, then I'm totally okay with that. I hope you enjoyed the content. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. As always, if you want to join my premium group, you also have that first link in the description down below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.